So we'll start with module 3, time domain analysis. So this under module 3, 4 and 5 we are going to study regarding the stability of a system. So stability of a system, we can analyze it either based on time or as a function of frequency. So in this particular module we will study the concept of stability based on time domain analysis. So under module 1 and module 2 you have observed how we can model a physical system, be it either a mechanical system or an electrical system. We can obtain the relation between output and input in terms of its transfer function. So now what we will do here is, first we'll go for what is meant by time domain analysis. We will see how you can analyze the time domain, and then we will see how the system can be defined as a stable system. So in practical systems, any system, the input can be either a single input or a multiple input. These inputs may not be constant over an entire period of time. It may vary, and even it may have disturbances. So these inputs or the disturbances, when we are analyzing it theoretically on a paper, we cannot consider the existing whatever conditions is happening in the real-time system. So what we do here is, we will consider an equivalent of those signals. Say the input is increased at once, then equivalent of that we will treat it as an impulse signal over here. Say you have a sudden change in the input, then we can treat it as a step signal. So likewise we will consider different test signals for which we are going to analyze a system. So first we will see what is meant by time response or time domain analysis. Time domain analysis, first of all, we consider it for a dynamic system, and it is the response of a system as a function of time. That means we consider the change in the output as a function of time for an applied input. So the input can be constant, it can be a change in the input, it can be a sudden increase in the input. So whatever happens to the input, what will happen to the output as time varies, that is called as time domain analysis. That means x-axis will be your time, y-axis will be your output. So for analyzing this, we consider the test signals. So for different types of test signals, how your response will be. So you will not consider it in terms of mathematical equations or differential equations as you have done under module 1, because for simple systems you can write the equations. For a complex systems, doing it is writing the mathematical equations is little bit tedious. Same way block diagram also is very much difficult. So we go for stability analysis in a different way. So this time response, so as you can see here the definition, response of the system as a function of time for a given excitation. The excitation is nothing but the input which is applied. So this time response can be categorized into two, or nothing but it has two parts, transient response and steady state response. So we will look first into what is meant by transient response, and then we will look into what is meant by steady state response. So this is very, very important. Time response has two parts, one is transient response and the other one is steady state response. So we will look into first what is meant by transient response. So when you have output, okay, so sorry, when you have applied an input to any system, your output can vary anyways. So your output can vary linearly, or it can vary exponentially, or it can be something like this oscillatory, it can be any. So when you have applied an input to a system, your output can be varying either linearly or exponentially or oscillatory, anything. So we will observe a time response of a system. So this is exponential, whereas this is oscillatory one. So this time response, which is divided into two parts, one is transient response and the other one is steady state response. We will see what it is. Transient response is the time taken once you apply an input to until it has almost reached its final value. That is called as transient time. Steady state or steady state time is once your output has settled down. Okay, so I repeat, the transient time is the time taken for the output to reach from the initial value to almost its final value, whereas steady state is the final output of the system. So the transient response, it can gradually die out. That means once your steady state is reached, the transient vanishes. Okay, that means almost this oscillatory thing is not here. Can you observe? Or this exponential increase is not there once you reach here. It is almost constant. That means when the system reaches steady state, your transient response vanishes. That is what it is. So the transient time, it can be either exponential like this or it can be oscillatory in this way. So if it is oscillatory, it will take time to settle down to its final value. So this part is called as the steady state, whereas this is called as the transient state. So the transient state or the transient time is denoted by Ct of t. That means it is a function of time, whereas steady state is Css of t. So this is transient and this is steady state. So your total time response C of t will be equal to Ct of t plus Css of t. Ct of t plus Css of t. So we'll look into the output variation. See, transient response is the output variation during the time it takes to achieve the final value. That means from the initial value, the time taken to reach the final value. Second point is it decays to zero. That means your transient dies out once your steady state reaches, once your output attains the final value. So it can be either exponential or oscillatory. For a stable system, your transient should die out. So for stable operating time, for a stable system, your transient time, as time tends to infinity, it should be 0. So as time tends to infinity, over a variation of time, your transient response should die out or it should vanish. This is your transient response. Next, your steady state responses. Steady state response is the response as time approaches infinity. Response as time approaches infinity from the time the transient response vanishes. That means once this transient response dies out, whatever is this region, that is once your output settles or becomes constant, it is the steady state. So it is represented by Css of t. So it indicates the accuracy of the system. Accuracy in the sense, see here, you can observe that you have, this is the step input, okay, which is applied. So this is your desired output. The straight line over here, this line is your desired output. But it has not reached the desired output. It has slightly, there is a gap. Okay, that gap is written as ESS. So your actual value should be green, but whatever you have got is, that is red marked. So it indicates how accurate your system is. The difference between your actual output is a red one, desired output is green one. This is desired output, this is actual output. The difference between the desired output and actual output, you call it as steady state error. Steady state error is the difference between your desired output and actual output. Desired output is the green line, your actual output is the red line. That is called as steady state error. So your total time response you can see here, it is CSS of t plus CT of t. So this is all regarding your steady state response and transient response. So next we will look into the standard test signals which we are going to consider. So when you are observing the output, you know the input has to be applied. So your input in the actual existing real-time system will be either in the form of a sudden shock, a sudden change, a constant velocity or a constant acceleration. So we will consider this practical existing situations in the system. To analyze it in a theoretical way, we will consider these particular test signals. In the place of this sudden shock, sudden change, constant velocity, constant acceleration, we will consider these test signals, which is impulse, step, constant velocity and constant acceleration. Other than that, we can also consider a sinusoidal signal. So we'll see the first test signal, which is called as a step function. Step function is nothing but a position function. What it gives, under your practical condition, whatever sudden change happens, you represent it by a step function. So sudden change in the existing real system, you represent it by a step function. So the step function has a magnitude A. Okay, here it is 0. From 0 it has a magnitude A. So you can write R of t, few textbooks specify R of t, here it is written U of t, anything is fine. So you see here, if U of t is equal to A for all the values for t greater than or equal to 0, it is a step function. If for less than 0, the value is 0. If the value of A is equal to 1, you call it as unit step function. You call it as unit step function. So this is your first standard test signal. The next standard test signal is impulse. Impulse means impulse signal when we use in the existing system. In the real system, you should have a sudden shock. So when there is a sudden shock, in the place of that, you use a impulse signal. So impulse signal has a magnitude A only at t equal to 0. Other places, its magnitude is equal to 0. If A is equal to 1, then you call it as unit impulse signal. Or your impulse signal can also be analyzed as a pulse of very small width. A pulse of very small width. This also can be treated as impulse. So pulse whose magnitude is infinite while its width tends to 0. That means this should be very, very small, the width. That also can be treated as impulse. This is your second standard test signal. Next is the ramp input, or it is velocity function. Whenever you consider the input under your practical system as a constant velocity, you consider a ramp signal here. So the ramp signal, it imitates the constant velocity characteristics of actual input signal. So you know the ramp signal, it increases like this. So it is having, if it is having a slope A, then we treat it as A into t for all values of t greater than 0, 0 for t less than 0. If A has a value of 1, then you have this characteristics. If A is equal to 1, you have this particular characteristics. The last test signal is the parabolic input, or we consider it for a constant acceleration. So this is the parabolic function wherein it is given by a t squared by 2 for all values of t greater than 0. If A is equal to 1, you call it as unit parabolic signal. So if A is equal to 1, it is unit parabolic. it is used for constant acceleration. So we have seen the time response. It is a sum of transient response and steady state response. Transient response dies out as time tends to infinity. Steady state is the final value achieved by your system. So to analyze a system, we use 4 different standard test signals: step input, ramp input, parabolic input, and impulse. So these are the inputs which we consider. Other than this, we can also use the sinusoidal signal. So this impulse, step, ramp, and parabolic. So impulse signal, step input, ramp input, parabolic. So if you integrate this, you get this in order. If you differentiate it, you get the other order. This is what it is. So you should know the Laplace equivalent of this. So Laplace equivalent of impulse is A. For step is A by S. For ramp is A by S square. And parabolic it is A by S cube. This is for impulse, step, ramp, parabolic. So the concept of steady state error we will be looking into in the next video.